Howdy, I'm Texas Hellfire, and I'm coming to you from New Braunfels, Texas. And welcome to the Tempest Universe, where we guarantee your ass is getting probed, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna like it. So pop open that cold one and enjoy the fucking show.
Texas Hellfire is absolutely correct. Pop open that cold one, whatever it is. Right now I got myself a concoction of whiskey and some kind of it's kind of a citrus soda. Believe it or not, it's sneaky. It's sneaky. You guys know those drinks, right? Where you mix it up and you're like just pounding them things because you feel like it's not doing anything to you. And then at the very end, bam, you're slouched over somewhere throwing up on your friend's mailbox. Not that ever happened to me. I'm just saying. Welcome to the Texas Universe. I am Manny, your host, and we're back. Today is MLK Day here in the United States, so some of you had a day off. Hopefully you reflected on what the man did, but otherwise, it's not a Monday for me. This Monday is not a Monday. Monday is going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow will be my shitty day. And for many of you, your shitty day happened anyway, but I'll catch up with you tomorrow because I'm sure tomorrow is going to be a shit fest for those that have Monday off. I'm just saying that's the way it is. That's the society we live in. It's weird because I was thinking about today. Like I'm going through, I don't know. I just got this thing about leaving the country, even if it is for 6 months out of the year, finding somewhere else to live and chillax for 6 months, and I just don't understand how we get stuck in this rat race. What the hell is going? That's the Tempest Universe talking to you. How do we get stuck in this rat race of, having kids and, working 9 to 5, or if you work overnight? We have a story about someone that worked overnight, incidentally. But if you get stuck, trying to make ends meet, paying taxes, trying to raise a dog that broke his back running, somewhere against a fence trying to bark at other dogs, and he's supposed to be chasing UFOs. How do we get stuck to this? How does this happen? I just don't understand. It's just crazy as fuck. That is a Tempest Universe. The universe is really fucked up. It's not just your life. It's not just the planet, not the solar system. The universe as a whole is chaotic. It is completely chaotic and out of control. And that's what we're living in. Hence, all the shit that we see regarding UFOs. For the love of God, people, this 180-day story has taken over everything. I mean, they're reporting this shit in tiny little countries. CIA, UFOs. Oh yeah, the CIA is the other one. 180 days. The CIA beat everybody to the punch. Who fucking cares? Again, let's be honest. These CIA documents may not offer you a glimpse into the truth, but I mean, they're historical, so they're cool to read in that perspective because you see people who you had no idea were involved in this, people that the CIA was keeping tabs on. And here's my thing, just to be sure. For fuck's sake, if UFOs are not real and no one believes in aliens from the government, why in the fuck would they track people that are talking about UFOs? Makes no damn sense. No damn sense at all. Why would you track an individual, an American citizen, who should have the freedom to study where the fuck they want? Why would you track him to this whole UFO topic? Who cares? If that shit is meaningless, who gives a damn? But apparently it's not that meaningless, is it? So the CIA, they dumped their shit, which I'm telling you, it is the fluff, to be honest. It's not the good stuff. This is the fluff, not the stuff we want. I'm sure that there's probably millions. I mean, come on. They've been studying this thing since Roswell, maybe earlier. There should be 1 trillion pages of stuff rolling around everywhere. As a matter of fact, the closer we get to the present time, freaking exponentially. The paperwork should triple, quadruple, quintuple. It just keep on going because it's all digital now. They didn't give you shit. They didn't give you anything. Get over it. Look at it from a historical perspective. Again, legacy incidents, the majority of which they're not going to help us today, to be honest. I'm just saying. True story. I forgot to do this last month, but for this month so far, I want to recognize some of the cities that are listed as the top 10 cities and top 10 countries that are listening to, I would say, the Dark Horde Network. Because it's not just UFO Buster Radio, especially not this month. There are some people still listening to UBR, but of course now we got the Dark Horde and the Tempest Universe. So the U.S., number 1, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, India, Germany, Sweden, New Zealand, Ireland, Norway, and there's a few other ones that they won't fucking mention because I don't pay enough for the service, I guess. Now, for the top 10 cities, Bay City, Michigan, holy shit, Canada. What the hell is this? Chilliwack? Chilliwack, Canada? It must be hot there. Adelaide, Australia, Columbus, Ohio, Craig, Colorado, Cassville, New Jersey, Layton, hopefully I got that right, Lehighton, Pennsylvania, you know what the fuck I'm talking about, Waukegan, Illinois, Fort Worth, Texas, Victoria, Canada. Those are the top 10 for this month. Those are the guys right there. And like I said, they don't give me all the data. I try to tell them, listen, I'll pay you for it. I'll give you some money. They're like, no, we don't fucking care. They'll give us whatever you want. We don't want it because we're not going to give it to you. And again, I'm really glad that India is tapping in. There's definitely, I've got to say, some of the countries that probably have a wealth of UFO. I mean, they worship cattle. Do you know how crazy UFOs have got to be over there? And how horrid it must be for many people in that part of the country to even have alien stories about stuff like that. I'm serious. I'm being serious with you. Come on, be honest with me right now. Don't you think that'd be scary if you saw cattle that's something that was sacred? Can you have graves going around mutilating them? So I want to know if that happens in India. That's what I want to know, to be honest. But, gotta love the Indians. And I'm not talking about the team that's no longer known as with that Indian moniker, that Indian name anymore. Losers. Anyway, so that's the way it is. This is where we're at right now. So thank you guys for listening in those countries and those cities. And again, it's only the top 10. There are many more after that. And it's weird because I have to look day by day in order to get the top 10 for each day. But I thank you guys for listening and being part of the Tempest universe because it's freaking nuts. We got 4 stories for today. Some of them, it's a mixture, right? We got a couple of UFO stories. We got some science stories dealing with NASA and all these other things. And it's going to be cool. Totally cool. We're going to play this track. Oh, wait. Before I get there, we did have an episode. It's funny. We had an episode with Chris, the psychic from San Antonio on, I think it was Friday. It was Friday. I was about to say Saturday. But for Friday. And it was just the weirdest thing. And this is the thing. Like, a lot of people don't believe this shit actually happens, especially with Chris or anybody else that's a psychic. But, like, I can have this whole episode with 0 things going on. I haven't changed my system. It's all the same. Chris, for some reason, he would pick topics to talk about, and his signal would be lost. I'd put the podcast on hold. I play a song, and his signal is fine. And this kept on repeating itself throughout the podcast. It was like really strange. I don't know what it is. It's almost like I need to have him in the same room with me so I can kind of like do a control, like test it. Have him in the same room using the same internet to figure out what the hell is going on. But it was just weird. And it kind of made for a difficult podcast, to be honest, a difficult episode, because whenever he tried to say something that was meaningful and you wanted to hear, you couldn't. It just didn't happen. It's crazy. I don't know what to say. This next song that I got here, I have a feeling, like when I heard this song that I put it on the podcast, the first time I was like, this is probably Dre singing to Davina.
Even when it don't feel right, I still wanna party with her, even when it don't feel right. You know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. She be calling on a Monday, wanna meet on Tuesday, asking me to fix me up real nice. She can wait until the weekend, she wants off the deep end, telling me to bring the stuff I like. I don't wanna let her down, so I'm telling her yes. Though I'm kinda down from the pain in my chest, but I'm putting that aside now. I'ma feel her right now, happy from the stuff I know she likes. I've been trying my luck every day of the week, yeah. With my baby, what's up? Ay, always down every week, yeah. Know I love her too much, but I just can't get enough. She's slipping through the cracks, call my bluff. She know what's up, can't get enough, yeah. Even when it don't feel right, ay, I still wanna party with her. Even when it don't feel right, hey, you know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. We been chillin' all through Wednesday, slept until it's Thursday. She don't wanna leave me, not just yet. Told me all about last Friday, when she went all crazy. Didn't go to bed till Saturday. I don't wanna go without, so I asked her to stay. Though she broke my heart in a million ways, but I'm putting that aside now. I'ma feel alright now, happy just as long as she's with me. I've been trying my luck every day of the week, yeah. With my baby, what's up? Always down every week, yeah. No, I love her too much, but I just can't get enough. She's slipping through the cracks, call my bluff. She know what's up, yeah. Can't get enough, yeah. Even when it don't feel right, hey, I still wanna party with her. Even when it don't feel right, yeah. You know I'ma party with her, with her, with her, yeah. Even when it don't feel right, I still wanna party with her, oh yeah. Even when it don't feel right, you know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. Even when it don't feel right, you know I'ma party with her, with her, with her, yeah, yeah.
I have a segment that I'm thinking about for probably, going forward, basically. It seems like everyone usually has a drink or two with them when they listen to the podcast. Unless you're on the shitter at work. Like if you're working somewhere, let's say like maybe a bank, or if you're working at Walmart or something like that, and you happen to run to the shitter to listen to podcasts, you probably don't have any drinks. But at Walmart, you probably could take some of them return drinks and head over to the shitter and just listen to podcasts. But still, I'm kind of thinking that maybe you guys who partake of the alcohol, if you listen to the podcast while you're drinking, send in your favorite drink through any of the social media that's listed in the description. What's your drink? What is it that you enjoy? Now, I don't drink a whole lot of beer unless it's like, a bunch of beer bottles dipped inside of turned upside down inside of a humongous margarita. I could do that. I think it takes too much to actually get a good buzz out of beer. You got to drink too many. And by that time, it's more of a sport than actually trying to enjoy your time, because you've made it to that 7th beer and now you got 5 more in the next pack that needs to be taken care of. And you just feel full instead of buzzed up real nice. That's going to be the thing now. So if you have a favorite drink that you enjoy, whether or not you listen to the podcast, I don't know what the fuck you do. If whatever you do, when you get this drink, parties, whatever, when you go out, send me the drink that you like as your favorite, and hopefully how you make it, and we'll disperse that to the rest of the folks to try it out. I know, I feel so bad. I'm going to get in trouble for all that kind of stuff. It's like back in the day when you couldn't smoke on live TV. Remember that? You know, that was some shit back then. Now you can't either. Nobody fucking smokes on TV anymore. But they do drink. NASA is doubling down on its efforts to find alien life on Jupiter's moons. This is my thing with space, right? The only reason why it covers space is because eventually the two will come together. UFOs, aliens, and NASA, SpaceX, and anybody else, you know, Virgin Galactic, you know, all these guys, they're all going to converge at one point, and it'll all be part of some crazy shit. It's going to be the new take. And so I think that it's important for people, you know, if you love aliens and craze, fantastic. You love a good probing once in a while, fantastic, great. I appreciate that you appreciate it, a good probing. But still, you've got to look at it from all angles, basically. And we've got to see the progress because it's what they're telling us. I'm sure, you know, there's many people who have said that NASA hides things, that they take pictures and they, you know, they remove certain evidence of things that are going on out there in the deepness of space where they are. And we get basically the edited version. But eventually everything will collide in our Tempest universe. And things like NASA, organizations like NASA, SpaceX, and all these other guys, and this ufology thing, they're all going to converge. And it's going to be one hell of a time. But NASA apparently decided that they're going to take JUNO. JUNO has put together some of the most amazing pictures, especially of Jupiter. Fantastic pictures. If you look at the image for this podcast episode, you will see one of the pictures from JUNO of Jupiter. What the fuck is that? If there's ever an alien planet, that's it. That shit it's crazy the way it looks. But apparently NASA's thinking that's not enough. We need JUNO not only to finish up whatever the hell is doing on Jupiter, but now we're going to go after the moons. Because the moons of Jupiter is where we believe there may be life. Signs of life. It could be water. It could be all kinds of things. But we're not going to go and just stay at Jupiter when we know that the real deal is on those moons. That's where we need to go. Finally, they're making some sense. It's weird. Like all of a sudden, thanks to COVID-19, like they've sat around, probably sitting on shitters with no toilet paper, just spending time for someone to send them a wet towel or nappy while they were sitting on there, and they had time to think about things like this. They really finally got it together. We're actually just going to go and send them wherever the fuck we think life is going to be and stop screwing around. Hey, could there be life on Jupiter? Who fucking knows? But we got planets that have geysers, well, actually moons, that have geysers of briny water. I mean, come on. That's where it needs to be. So finally, there you go. So it turns out JUNO apparently is going to continue until, I believe it's 2025. 2025. Now, this thing right now is orbiting Jupiter every 53 days. Now, why is it such a great thing? We've seen all the great pictures. We've seen some of the flyby photos of the the Great Red Spot, which is amazing. And the data that's coming back from JUNO is fascinating, right? 50 to 100 times deeper than the Earth's oceans is how far down the red spot goes into Jupiter's atmosphere. That is completely nuts. Completely nuts. And there are so many things. We've seen the red spot so much clearer. We've seen the north and the south pole of the planet in some crazy shapes that you would not think would be natural to occur outside of math, calculations and things like that. But we know there's something crazy going on up there. The other mission that's going to stay also in full effect and extended by NASA is the InSight mission. So this is the rover that has this little arm thingy that's measuring the seismic activity on Mars. Now, could you imagine? Do you think the SpaceX thought about the possibility of earthquakes? Well, I guess they're not earthquakes, Marsquakes on a dead planet. Because, up until we got all these things and we've crashed all these instruments and all these rovers and satellites on a damn planet, no offense, India, did we figure out that the planet is not a dead planet? It's alive in many ways. And now they're thinking that just like our planet, we've got tectonic plates on Mars. And that's why we're getting Marsquakes. So again, do you think anyone with the vision, corporate money to get to Mars even thought about having to deal with earthquakes? Could you imagine an alien coming down to California right before a big-ass quake? Surprise, surprise. Stop fucking around. It's not a good idea. So I'm sure that these are things that, especially SpaceX and all these other countries that are heading to Mars, are going to keep a good eye on as far as where to land and things like that. Because seismic activity, probably not a good thing to have to go through when it comes to landing on a planet that you don't know very much of. Now, the InSight itself has actually detected 174 earthquakes since it landed. 20 of them have been between 3 and 4 on the Richter scale, magnitude 3 and 4. That is freaking nuts. Now, I'll be honest, back in when they were fracking, back in the Dallas area, we had a few earthquakes between 3 and 4. They're not that much fun. Now, those were really short because they were caused by fracking. But could you imagine a naturally occurring earthquake 3 and 4 due to tectonic plates movement? Probably a whole different story, but holy fuck. I would not want to start the first Mars colony in a place where it's known for Marsquakes. I'm just saying. I'd want a refund, send my ass back. I'm done with you, Elon. That is what's happening right now. So Mars and the JUNO and the moons of good old Jupiter, and actually is Ganymede, Europa, and Io. They're all on the table now because we're going to figure out life on those. We're going to figure out why and where and what kind of activity do we really have with Marsquakes. So we're all getting ready. We're getting ready, getting the data for what's the next big thing when it comes to space. Okay, potentially life. Let's be honest. They've got to start answering that question. They can't continue to rubber dick us all the way to our deathbeds. Because most of us would be dead by the time we get the answer if we go down the NASA route. True story. last week or the week before, I don't know. When you're drinking whiskey, it all blurs together. But one of those weeks, I talked about Phil Schneider and his whole incident, right, with the underground bases and shit like that in New Mexico. And it's weird because all of a sudden I'm seeing all these other shows, talking about these underground bases and the network of underground bases, out, going out all the way out into the ocean off of the coast of California, and not just in California, off the coast of Texas, I believe, and, just all over the place. This whole fucking network. When you look at this, I don't get it. How are we so dumb? How do we not see this? How do we not pay attention to, seismic activity? There's got to be seismic activity when somebody's building a fucking base that goes from the middle of the country all the way the fuck out to the ocean. Were we all asleep? I don't understand. What the hell happened? There's all these shows that are coming out right now, and apparently somebody got to a third phase of moon. This network of freaking tunnels, bases all over the place, and they're so closely related to where many of the military bases are in many of the southern states. What the hell? What happened? What were we doing? I mean, come on. This is just nuts. But anyway, ever since I talked about that, all these things are coming up. And, all these places that I look at, like YouTube and Twitter and stuff like that have been bringing up at random these posts about underground bases, and also on Reddit. What the hell does that mean for the story of ufology when we find out that there's all these secret underground bases that are connected by tunnels like the same one that Elon Musk and his Boring Company are trying to build for cars? We've had these for decades, apparently, by the military in order to conduct their secret activity at the highest levels, of course, not any Joe Blow that just got enlisted. These are folks that are in the secret part of the military that deal with alien technology and stuff like that. It's absolutely nuts. It is nuts that we as Americans had no fucking clue, and still don't really, because you're not going to believe third phase of moon unless one of those fuckers actually goes and digs themselves down into the dirt and find the damn base. That's the only way that any of us are going to really know. But we've got maps. So what's so hard about finding these fucking things? Yeah, that's a good question, Manny. I don't know. UFO sighting thanks to Pareidolia Pete. The claim is that a video captures an encounter of an alien craft over Fargo, of all places. Well, listen, if I'm an alien, Fargo is the last damn place I'm gonna go in the middle of winter. I'm just putting that out there. You guys who live in Fargo, we've seen how bitter cold it is in the winter. And for fuck's sake, those grays, they got zero hair on them. No hair whatsoever. No. The last place that they're going to go and abduct people is in Fargo. I would stay clear of that shit until the summer. If you're listening, Gray Man. Check it out. So it turns out this guy was driving home one night and he sees a UFO. It's kind of foggy outside. That morning fog that happens in many places. And he was startled by what he saw. I could imagine that this might happen to Game Vet a lot when he's out there driving in his big rig. That early morning fog, you start seeing crazy shit because of the light. The light is all crazy. So this guy is driving and he actually stops to take a video. I tried to put the video, actually this is the initial picture I tried to put from the article of this so-called UFO. I tried to put it as the logo for this episode, but it wouldn't accept it for some reason. Who fucking knows? But anyway, the guy stopped and he takes a video of this thing. The video is 100 seconds long on his smartphone because, I don't know, maybe he had a small memory card, I don't know. Who knows? But, you know, he puts it on YouTube or whatever. And the thing, it looks weird. But the bad thing about it is it really looks like a highway light. It looks like, you know, those stretches of highway in the middle of nowhere, a.k.a. Fargo. And you have the big-ass lights that has like about a dozen fucking lights on it, right? And they light up the highway, you know. And it just happens every few miles or whatever, but still. Big-ass fucking lights. That's what it looks like, to be honest. I'm just putting it out there. But of course, Pareidolia Pete, Scott C. Waring jumped on it. Pareidolia Pete says, hey, that's a real UFO. Yeah, it is. It turns out that the guy, he's driving home from work. He saw the street lights. He stops. He says that when he got out of it to take the video, the thing didn't move. Not one bit. It just stayed right there. And he took his video. Isn't that weird? Now, usually, when you get off, and alien is in yonder, over yonder, shit goes down. Either your ass has missing time, or it leaves. But not this one. This big-ass UFO that he saw in Fargo just sat there, looking pretty. And so he took his video. Scott C. Waring, of course, says, hey, that's a real deal. And here's a quote from Scott C. Waring, Pareidolia Pete. He says, it's possible what this person was witnessing was a close encounter with a UFO that had just landed and had aliens disembark to study the inhabitants of this small town before they woke up. No. Listen, Pareidolia Pete. Again, Fargo is cold as fuck. There ain't nobody going to disembark. The people in Fargo don't disembark during winter. So there ain't no way there's going to be any probing of anyone. But he believes that's what happened. That this guy witnessed basically a alien mothership stopping over Fargo to get a little probing on. Cue the probing music, I guess. The picture is, like I said, it really does look like a highway, one of the big highway street lamps. Sadly enough, I don't agree, of course, with Pareidolia Pete, though I still believe it is my theory that eventually, he's going to hit it on the money. But I don't think this is it, Pareidolia Pete. Sorry, Scott. This is not your golden moment. This is more pareidolia just taking over your feeble mind. But that wasn't the only shot towards trying to explain this, because the other Scott Brando from UFOinterest.org actually told the Express UK that all it really was over Fargo on January 9th was highway lights. It really is what it looks like, to be honest. Like, I've seen these big-ass highway lights, out like in Colorado and stuff like that. You get stretches of highway with a fucking thing out there. But you have these big-ass fucking highway lights. And I think even in Nevada you have some of these things. Sorry, Pareidolia Pete, you done fucked up again. You gotta wait till the good one. Wait till there's a good sighting. And then chime in on that. But it's so easy it's stupid almost. It's sad to say. The link is in the description. Check out the picture, because there's a pretty good picture of it. There's also the video, 100 seconds, that you can link to and view. But yeah, sorry, Fargo. You guys were probe-free that night. And I'm pretty sure you know that, because all your chastity belts were not removed. So that's just the way it goes.
Get
hello. This is Stewie. We are having a sexy party with Manny Moonraker on the Tempest universe. Cheers.
Bugs just came in and kicked the door open. So now the door's wide open. You're going to have all kind of noise happening in here right now. Thanks a lot, Bugs. Anyway, this next story has to do with the UK, the United Kingdom. Apparently, they are getting in the game of listening to space. Yeah. I mean, it's not enough you got SETI doing this, but now you hear him. I mean, I'm not even lying. You hear Bugs in here just rattling his chain over there. So they're getting into the whole SETI thing. They're listening. A multi-million-pound UK project that apparently is being paid by sponsors and crowdfunding is going to listen. Just hold on to your big girl panties because it's about to go down. They're listening to mining equipment. No, not mining equipment here in your town. No, they're listening to mining equipment in space. I don't understand this. The East Anglian Astrophysical Research Organization, also known as EARO, I didn't make that up, is calling the project EAROCIBO after the iconic telescope Arecibo in Puerto Rico. Well, first of all, that Arecibo is no longer with us. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, EARO. I can imagine that every scientist who was out in Puerto Rico and witnessed the complete collapse of Arecibo is curled up somewhere in some cold shower crying, like the crying game, after reading that this project in the UK is going to be called EAROCIBO. That is just so not cool on so many levels. But here's the deal, that they really are. They really are going to listen for mining and mining technology from deep space. How the fuck do you do that? I don't understand. The project leader, Jason Williams, 46, like his age really matters, he says, at last we might be able to answer the big question of our time. Are we alone? It sounds like we're listening for fucking miners. Are there miners on other planets and solar systems? This makes no sense to me. I'll be honest with you. I don't understand this. Hey, Jason Williams, will you please contact the Tempest Universe? I want to know how in the fuck are you going to identify mining equipment and mining technology from 4.2 far? How do you do that from billions of miles away is beyond me, but apparently they know something we don't. He says it is super exciting. No, it's fucking not. There's nothing exciting about this. How are you going to listen to mining equipment from that distance? Talk about another project. There's got to be something secret about this. It makes no sense to me. Dude, who the fuck approved this? Mining equipment? I don't get it. I don't understand. Like you guys in the UK, someone needs to find out who the fuck paid for this multi-million-pound project, because it's about £1 million too many. Really. I don't understand how they did this. How did they get away with this? Anyway, they're actually going to be holed up inside a bunker, an abandoned bunker, I guess, from one of the RAF bases out there. So it appears that they're going to have a nice place to hang out at. The project itself is going to start in 2026. We got a little bit of time for you guys to change your mind on it. It's going to be near Bodmin, Cornwall, at the edge of North York's National Park. And again, here's another one. Near an RAF base. They're going to be in a bunker near the woods. You know what's going to happen. Another UFO is going to land there in the middle of the woods. Okay, we'll be confused for another 30, 40 years. I just don't get it. I mean, I can understand if you're listening for, things like techno sources and things like that. But mining equipment, who the fuck is going to transmit mining equipment? I don't know. This goes into our next article that is going to ask the question, are we just completely crazed over UFOs? I think this project kind of tells you that. You can't. Why are you listening for that? You might as well just say you're going to listen to babies farting. Alien babies farting. Or taking their first steps. Makes no sense at all. This is, if you want to read more about it, if you're in the UK and you give two fucks about it, please click in the description and check it out. There is, unfortunately, there's nothing more I can say about this one. It's just a really weird article.
All I ever wanted was you, but you left me alone inside these empty, broken walls. And I can't see it clearly, but it's obvious. I know that you left me alone inside this empty, broken hall. And now you'll be the reason why my soul is tainted. Somebody help me, 'cause I'm feeling trapped and I don't know what to do. There's no one to save me from this hurt I feel deep within my bones. Did you ever think of me and see the things I did? Sold my soul and everything, I was to the lowest bid. Crawled into your poison dome, yet every single time you got into my mind, you got into my mind. But all I ever wanted was you, but you left me alone inside these empty, broken walls. And I can't see it clearly, but it's obvious. I know that you left me alone inside this empty, broken hall. And now you'll be the reason why my soul is tainted. So how can I fix this? 'Cause I need to stop the aching in my head. My heart is breaking. Yeah, I'm tired of being stuck in the past. Did you ever think of me and see the things I did? Sold my soul and everything, I was to the lowest bid. Crawled into your poison dome, yet every single time you got into my mind, you got into my mind. But all I ever wanted was you, but you left me alone inside these empty, broken walls. And I can't see it clearly, but it's obvious. I know that you left me alone inside this empty, broken hall. And now you'll be the reason why my soul is tainted. The reason why my soul is tainted. You're the reason why my soul is tainted. You're the reason why my soul is tainted. You're the reason why my soul is tainted.
This has the last article. For fuck's sake. It is my not Monday, so I'm good with it. The last article is asking whether we are stuck in the cusp of another UFO craze. I don't even know when the first one happened, to be honest. It was way before my time. So I missed that shit. So why I'm due for my own UFO craze. Though, I don't know. I really don't know. People, by and large, ignore the fuck out of UFO stories, even when it's good old fucking video from good old American military FLIR cameras and good old American trained military folks. You can't freaking sell it. You can't buy it. You can't sell it. You just have to believe in it or give two fucks about it. And by the way, the guys are saying that I said, welcome to the Texas universe. I fucking might as well be saying that, right? Because I feel like I'm in my own universe sometimes. Cue the sad music. It turns out this author is taking like a lighthearted look The fact that there's so many things, so many conversations about UFOs, sightings, and stories from the government. Hashtag 180 days. Hashtag CIA. Hashtag Oumuamua. I mean, there's been a slew. If you look back in, 2-3 decades before, you wouldn't see these things. They're not at this level. There is a bit of a craze, yes. But I think by and large, the amount of people that we're talking about that receive this information from major news outlets are ignoring it. This is why people are going to be surprised. This is why people in government are afraid of the UFO story. Because people really don't care about it. They're so used to hearing, quack stories about UFOs and things like that when they see a story pop up on the New York Post or something like that, or, the Times, or, Popular Mechanic and shit, they don't pay attention to it. They don't give any fucks about it because they think it's all fake news. The article starts off by, talking about folks like Avi Loeb, Mr. Harvard himself, releasing his book, by the way, which I'm going to get a copy and give it away to one of you listeners. But when Harvard gets into it, you would think people would pay attention, right? Avi still's got his job. He's still working. He literally, Oumuamua happened in 2017. 4 years later, the dude is still employed by Harvard. What does that tell you? If this would have happened 10 years ago, his ass would have been the fuck out of there. Working at Walmart, greeting people, telling them about the space rocks. That didn't happen. We got all the folks that deal with the Tic Tac situation. Nothing really happened. No one lost all their retirement pay for the military just because they talk shit. That didn't happen. There is a truth to this. Why else would you, UFO researcher, why would you be followed and tracked and spied on by the government if you're talking about crazy stuff that doesn't really exist? The article also talks about the Breakthrough Project, Listen Project, that got the signal from Proxima Centauri. Again, I feel that one is less likely to be aliens than more of us picking up bullshit from space, because it is a tempest space. There's a lot of stuff out there, not just coming from here, but just in general. It's chaotic. Shit happens in space. But are we coming to a place where we're going to be crazed with UFOs? UFO sightings, thanks to COVID-19, people had time to sit around on the shitter and look out the window. Their little window, if you had one. Not everyone has a window. But even the little outhouses, they have the little moon thing. You could look out through there, a little cutout. So while you're taking the shit, you can see space. You can see the stars. You can see satellites. You can see things moving in ways you would never have imagined. 180 days. For fuck's sake. It'll be 190 days, and we probably still won't hear anything. I mean, it's the government, right? Lots of red tape. It'll be 360 days, and we're still waiting. Who knows? I think there is a UFO craze, but most of it is for those of us who were already crazed by it. Now we're psycho about it. Now we're watching everything. We're salivating every time we see a report. I'll be honest, I'm fascinated by the story of underground bases dealing with UFOs, alien technology, reverse engineering. Yeah, I think that's a great story. Do I believe that there could be underground bases? Yeah. Do I believe that there was enough time to link these fucking bases together? Absolutely. If we started back during Roswell, shit. I'd expect the whole entire country to be linked together by underground bases. No fucks are given there. So yeah, if you find yourself crazed and looking at the stars, doing your CE5 at night with your family members, trying to call down aliens, guess what? You have been crazed by UFOs. You are you are a member of the religion of ufology. And by the way, there was another article that was put out in the last week saying and defining ufology as a religion. For some people, it might be. Some people are waiting for that big UFO to take them away. For others, it's a curiosity. It's something that some individuals see as a ridiculous idea that we are the only folks in the entire Tempest universe. Because we're not. And if we are, well, fuck. I need some godly powers. Because I am fucking amazing, just like all of you are, for being the only sentient beings in the entire place. You need a Thor's hammer. You should all be part of the Asgardians. Which, by the way, have been in the live chat, just chatting away. I think it's a record today, thanks to Texas Hellfire. But we got Dre, we got GameVit, Green Man, Pucky. Who else? I know I saw somebody else. GameVit's in there. I did say GameVit, didn't I? Davina was there for a little bit. She was kind of awake. The Norm, Texas Hellfire, of course. And, yeah, they've been chatting away. Yeah, sometimes it is distracting, but still. We are crazed. We believe in the idea that we are not alone. And we're trying to figure out what the government knows. We may or may not figure that out in about 6 months' time. Or 9. Or 10. Or 15. But it fuels our curiosity and it makes us cuckoo. Completely cuckoo, just wondering what the hell they're going to put out there. Just to be honest. I thank you guys for listening to the podcast, and I enjoy sharing my nuttiness about this topic with all of you. But at the same time, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to let people know that you believe in this in some way. That's the end. I'll come back on Wednesday. We'll talk a little more. Maybe we'll talk about SN9 from Boca Chica because there were problems. They were supposed to have done the hop for that already, but they've got problems. So I'm giving them a day to get it together because I'm afraid. I'm afraid to see what's going to go down in Boca Chica. Because, like I said, you cannot plan shit when it comes to rocketry. Because there's always delays. There's always tomorrow. And many of us don't have that many days left, for fuck's sake. Ciao.
It's all
hello, this is Stewie. We are having a sexy party with Manny Moonraker on the Tempest Universe. Cheers!